Hey guys, how's it going? This is Ruben again. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a chili from scratch. So like always, our mise en place, we already have some grilled sausage, some chicken broth, a few veggies, green onions, tomatoes, some Anaheim peppers, an onion. We have our fresh beef. This is about 2 pounds. We have some shredded Mexican mixed cheese, so it's what is it, cheddar jack, I believe. And then we have our spices in here. This is about 2 tablespoons of each of red crushed chili, chili powder, paprika, cayenne, and granulated garlic, plus cumin. And of course, our beer for our chili. So first things first, let's get started with Anaheim. What we're gonna do with these, we're gonna rub them in some oil and then put them on the grill to char them so we can take the skin off of these guys. So simply just get some of your olive oil, a little bit of oil on them. The reason why I'm wearing the gloves is because I have to use it for the oil. And the reason why you wanna use oil is so that it actually kind of like fries the outside of this. When you put it on the grill, it'll start charring better, faster, more even. All right, so let's go to the grill. The grill's already been preheated. I'm just gonna open it up, put our peppers in there. You're gonna hear a little, small little sizzle. And when you go to the store, try to get them as flat as possible. Sometimes when they're curved like this, you'll have a little bit of problems getting some char, but it'll still work. We just close them, come check on them every once in a while so that you start seeing that blackening of the skin, and I'll show you that as we go. All right, next step, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the onion and we're gonna do a rough chop of the onion. This is gonna go inside our chili. All right, next step, what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn on our pot. So we're just gonna put a little bit of olive oil in there, just to get that going on the onion. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back, grab our onion, throw it in there, and start cooking it. What you want to do is just break up these onions as much as you want. We're going to cook them down. If you want to add more onion after, like fresh onion, you can. If you feel it's not enough onion. For this one, for this size pot, we're just going to use 1 onion. What we're going to want to do is let it sit there, and we want to start getting that little charring, get a little caramelizing on the onions. And we're waiting for that. Let's go check on our Anaheim peppers. As you can see, the charring is starting. So what you want to do is see this on the whole pepper. So that means it's not ready. So we're just going to let them go on the same side still for a little bit. And this is exactly why I say we want these to be flat, because there's spots like this that will be hard to char, but we'll still get it to work. Just going to leave these guys in here for a little bit. So these are still going. As you can see on some of these onions, you start seeing that little char. That's what I want to see in these onions. So I'm doing them in high heat. All right, so while we wait for this, what we can do is we can start with our already charred sausage. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna mince this, and it's gonna go inside our chili as well. This is gonna be an all beef chili. We don't want to mince these too small. We want to get that texture. That's what's going to give us a texture in here, as well as the veggies. Gives a nice little crunch. All right, next what we're going to do is we're going to do one final check on our onions. Make sure they're nice and charred to how we want. Just a little under, but just remember we're going to cook the meat, so these are still going to be cooking a little bit more. So that nice little brown is what we want. So now what we're going to do is we're going to throw in 2 pounds of our ground beef inside the pot. And the way I like to do is I just want to come in here and just break it up into bigger pieces, because I don't want my meat to be really fine. I want chunks. So just gonna break it up. And we're just gonna do that, just let it go, and then come back, turn it in a little bit, turn it a little bit more, The less you stir it, the chunkier your chili is gonna be. If you stir it a lot, it's gonna make it really fine, it's gonna break it apart. So while we wait for this, we can start on our little sides. Like I said, we got some Mexican cheddar jack cheese already shredded. What we're gonna do is, these are gonna be part of our garnish. So we'll get a few of the green onions. Next step is we're gonna take off the little root part, these little furry things. We're gonna cut them off. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab these and we're just gonna start mincing them. So again, we wanna grab them. You can make them as thick as you want or as thin as you want. Now we're gonna get our tomatoes ready. Like we always do, we're gonna take the little pulls off of this guy and just cut them out. I'm gonna do that to all our tomatoes. What I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna put all of them in at the same time. I'm gonna leave at least 2 so that at the end I can throw some fresh ones in there so you get that nice tomatoey flavor. So what we wanna do with these is we're gonna cut them down the middle. And then you're basically quartering these. We're gonna cut them again. Once you got quarters, you're gonna go down and you're just gonna slice them. That's how big we wanna have them. What's gonna happen with tomatoes when you cook them, they start dissolving, so the bigger the better, which is why I also wanna put some fresh pieces at the end. I think I'm gonna cut it right here and leave it here. We'll wait on these. And check on the meat. So you can see the meat starting to cook. But again, I don't want to stir it too much. I just want to kind of rotate it a little. Let it continue cooking. So we're doing this. Let's go check on our Anaheims again. You can see that's what we want. That's the charring you want. I mean, it smells really good. You can smell the chili pepper and you see this charring. This is almost like a paper now. So when we go in there and we put it inside a bag and let them steam for like 10 minutes, it'll be really easy to take off the skin off these guys. So now we're just gonna char the other side. Now we're gonna do a final check on our Anaheims. It looks like they're done. You see how they're all nice and charred? Now they look like a paper. Get a plastic bag and put them in your plastic bag. Now they're gonna be hot, so depending on what kind of bag, it may rip, but I think this will hold it. Okay, so now what we wanna do is put them in a bag so they steam, and we're just gonna close it up and leave it in here for about 10 minutes. And in 10 minutes, we'll take them out and start peeling them. So we're just gonna put them up here in the bag. Now we're gonna check our chili, or our meat inside the pot. See, it's already starting to cook, so what we're gonna do is now we're gonna put our spices inside of it. Dump them all in there, and just give it a nice mix in there. You can see the meat's gonna start to turn red. If you wanna make this a little spicier, you can add more red crushed chili, or you can add more cayenne. It'll give you a big, higher kick, a little hotter. So we just wanna mix this really well. So you just see some of the chunks in there. That's what we wanna see, is chunk. I like my stuff chunky. Like I said before in other videos, I like my stuff rustic. I love to feel what I'm eating. So next step is we're gonna grab our beer. We put a whole 12 ounces of beer in here. You're gonna smell it. Well, you won't, but I'll be smelling this in a little bit. Again, so the beer is gonna give it flavor. It's gonna give you that like hoppy. These aren't very hoppy, but it'll still give it some hop, and it'll tenderize. So you just let this sit there here for a little bit. I might turn up the heat a little bit more so it starts to boil. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a little bit of the sausage, or the rest of the sausage. We're gonna toss it in there to cook and marinate with the rest of the ingredients in there. So you can see this is gonna be an all beef chili. You don't have to do all beef. You can add bean. Now it becomes a chili beans, if that's what you like. But I'm from Texas. We like all beef chilies. And we're gonna let this cook for a little bit. Let it marinate. Let it just sit there and marinate with each other. All right, guys. So now we've let these sit here for about, say, 10 minutes. We're gonna open them up. I'm gonna show you how to peel these. Now remember, these are gonna be really hot because they came off the grill. Again, my hands, I'm pretty used to the heat, so I can grab onto stuff. But if you want, you can wear gloves or however you can get get away from the heat. That's more power to you. So what we're gonna do is just keep them inside the bag. Open them up. Just grab the skin. It'll come off real easily, just like that. Peels right off. These are the kind of tricks I learned from my grandma, my mom. So now it's peeled. It's nothing but the meat on the chili. Another trick you can do that I've seen them do is they grab the knife and just push the skins away if you don't want to use your hands. But I like using my hands because it's faster. All right, so next what we want to do is we're going to take off the ends. You can just pull them off. You can leave the seeds in this because it's not really spicy. It's more of a sweet pepper. But if still, some people might find these still a little spicy, so you can actually sit there and take them off if you want. If you want to take them off, all you got to do is open them. And with your knife, just go down. And they'll come right off. I'm gonna leave mine in, but I just want to show you how to do that. The way we're gonna cut these, so again, I'm a fan of rustic, so what we want to do is go down, and then 2 down the middle. 1, 2. And it's okay, you can throw them in here with your tomatoes. So we're gonna throw them all in together. All right, so now that we've cut our tomatoes and we've got our Anaheims ready, all that's left is put them back inside the pot with the rest of the meat. So we can just add it in here. We're gonna start mixing it. All right, if it looks dry the way it is right now, where it doesn't look like there's much liquid in it, the reason why we have the chicken broth is we can always get a little bit of chicken broth and put some inside. Do it little by little. You don't want to put too much. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to add our sugar. We got about 2.5 tablespoons of brown sugar in here. Maybe a little bit more, maybe 3 tablespoons. What we're going to do is we're going to mix it. Bring the temperature back up again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let it stew. Once it starts to boil a little, I want the tomatoes to stew along with the rest of it. So we don't want to put the tomatoes till the end because they'll start dissolving. I'm going to let this sit here for a little bit. All right, our chili's been stewing for a little while. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add our salt. And what we want to do with the salt, like I've always said, is at the end is salt to taste. So depending on how much salt you like, just add about a tablespoon. I'm going to mix it a little. So you can see this has been stewing. The tomatoes are already stewed in there. It's just ready to go. I'm gonna taste it. Just be careful when you taste it because this is super hot. All right, that's good. The final step to this is we're just gonna plate this. Just gonna grab some chili, put it in a bowl. Just gonna put a little bit of cheese. Some of your green onions. There you go. This is your chili. From my Texas roots comes this awesome chili. Chili really, in my opinion, is a combination of meats, veggies, and spices, which are stewed together to make a wonderful combination of flavors. We call it layering of flavors in the culinary world. We don't just throw it in a pot and call it good. Once you cook your first chili, feel free to play with the recipe and come up with different combinations of flavors. Hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. And as always, please share, like, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment or question, and hope to see you on the next one. Y'all take care now.